Interesting thing actually. Neil deGrasse Tyson, um, he was asked. He was on VladTV, and he was asked like, "What do you think about ChatGPT?" He actually said something pretty insightful. Now, really quickly, just a disclaimer: I don't really like Neil deGrasse Tyson anymore like I used to. I think he doesn't really embody what it means to be a scientist. I think part of getting the scientist is supposed to inspire wonder, right? A little bit. Obviously, he's supposed to do scientific stuff, but when he was in that episode of Joe Rogan and Joe Rogan talked to him about aliens, his response was, "Why would aliens be interested with humans? What humans have to say?
Yeah.
Like we don't know, and neither do you. You know what I mean?"
Yeah.
But he said it in such a like pompous way, like almost patronizing, where it was like a species that can travel. I'm paraphrasing. A species that can travel across the universe and whatever at light speed. What could they possibly have to talk to us about? Why would they be interested in? I don't think we're special at all. And at no point did he think to himself like, we spend millions and billions of dollars studying bacteria and viruses. Do we sit down and have a conversation about philosophy with them?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that they have a place in our lives that affect us in a way that if we're not careful, they can destroy us. So we study them and we put a lot of money into studying them and finding out how they work. You don't know the place of human beings in the universe to know, like, yo, these aliens might look at us and say, oh no, these people are dangerous because X. We don't know what we're doing, how it's affecting stuff in the rest of the universe. For all we know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I heard a rumor that detonating an atomic bomb causes like ripples across space and affects like we don't know. And until you and that's another thing too. These guys are not even religious. These guys are like atheists or something like that. Fine, whatever. You're too smart. I'm being sarcastic. It's like until you've seen the entire universe and all of realities and search under every single rock, you don't know why they're here. You don't know why they're here. Just say you don't think because of that and leave it at that, bro. But you're wrong for thinking that as a scientist.
Yeah.
So that was pretty close minded as a scientist.
So what was his thoughts about ChatGPT?
This one was pretty insightful. He said that math and physics and modeling trajectories have been automated for years, like 30, 40 years already. It didn't cause people to lose jobs the way we thought it did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In fact, it made everything better. It made them more efficient. And they said that because of the automation and how they were able to push it to the limit, it made it even better. He's saying that people are worried now, but it's just that automation has now moved from mathematics and physics and projections to writing. That's it. And it'll probably make them better now. He said, now if you want to write a brochure, just say, hey, ChatGPT, write me a brochure for a beach. It does it for you.
Yeah.
You know, that's it.
So
So
do you
I
think
think that was pretty insightful.
you think it's gonna create jobs too?
Yeah, I think it is. I don't know if you know who Yaron Brooks is.
No.
He's from the school of Ayn Rand. He's a straight up capitalist, a straight up hardcore capitalist, bro. And he said, very insightful. He asked a question. He was like, "Do you think we have more jobs now in 20 when I was listening to it, like in 2020, or do you think we have than we did in 1918?" And the answer is we have more jobs now.
Yeah.
And then he said, "Do you think we have more automation now than we did in 1918 or 1920?" And the answer is, yeah, we have more automation. What does that tell you? It seems that there's a trajectory that, yeah, automation might take jobs away, but it creates not just new jobs, but entire new industries.
Yeah.
And hearing that and seeing Neil deGrasse Tyson talk about ChatGPT and saying how it's just making everything more efficient and stuff like that, it might make new jobs. It might create new jobs. So what do you think? What are your thoughts on
No,
that?
no, I agree 100%. I mean, I'm open to artificial intelligence, and yeah, it's definitely going to create new jobs. I think that it's a future, and I mean, they made an app a couple of days ago. Actually, it's available now for the Android and the iPhone.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, for ChatGPT. So if you have any specific questions you want to ask it and just mess around with it, I advise you,
Bro,
and
I think
you should do it.
ChatGPT is gonna smack Google up.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You know what? Have you ever tried looking up something in Google now? It's horrific.
Yeah, it takes forever, man. And
And
now
that-
that gives you like inaccurate things, man. Like, what the hell? Isn't that what I was looking for?
But not only that, like let's say you want to make grilled chicken, right? How do you
Yeah.
make grilled chicken? You type it up on Google and you click on the link, and the first thing they don't say, okay, 1 tablespoon of this,
Yeah.
So grilled chicken is an awesome food to
Yeah,
eat
yeah,
in the summer. You
yeah.
can serve it with friends, and you can serve it with your family member. Anywhere you are, it's like,
It doesn't
yo,
get straight to the point. Like, what the
exactly.
fuck?
Tell ChatGPT. Well, we gotta
Yeah.
edit that part out.
No, dude, we could say that.
Oh, we could?
Yeah, man.
I didn't know that.
It's not everything is
Oh, okay.
censored.
Oh, okay. Well, ChatGPT is like you ask ChatGPT how to make grilled chicken and
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom. That's it. No, this reminds me of my grandma back in the autumn of '78. None of that stuff. Straight to the point. And so, duh, like, who isn't gonna say screw Google? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Google fell asleep behind the wheel hard on that one. Hard, bro.
Yeah, man. I think they may come out with something. We'll see though.
I don't know, man. I always believed that Google had like their DeepMind stuff supposedly is like
Yeah.
doing their, but nothing's been public. Google's just been eating off ad revenues.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because think about it. What has Google made recently outside of Google Maps,
Yeah.
and YouTube, which they didn't even make? They bought. What have they made? What have they come out with that did anything?
Yeah, I mean,
Everything they came out with, Stadia didn't do too well.
Yeah.
Google Hangouts didn't do too well.
I think Google,
Google
Picasso, it was called.
Yeah.
For editing pictures, like that shit. Yeah.
Google Plus, all the stuff Google's come out with is like, oh, none of this stuff is doing well.
Yeah, or
When
it
you
got
think
shut
about
down. Yeah.
because it wasn't doing well. Then they had
Yeah.
Google Stadia that got shut down. So they fell asleep at the wheel hard. I don't know who was doing what. bro.
Yeah, like I think the only thing they have left is the search engine,
The search
man.
engine.
Google.
Yeah, and pretty soon ChatGPT is gonna start eating into their market shares.
Yeah.
Once ChatGPT is able to like find a way to put advertising on that, we're gonna be in trouble. Like Microsoft is trying to put advertising on your.
Well, Google does have YouTube though.
Well, yeah. And right now with the way Rumble, Rockfin.
Yo, Rumble's getting big, bro.
Yeah,
and
but-
stay tuned. We're gonna open a channel Rumble too.
Yeah,
so
for sure,
That's
for
coming.
sure.
That's uncensored. So you know.
Yeah. But so Rumble and Rockfin and all these other channels, Odyssey,
Yeah.
all three of them, they still can't take down YouTube yet.
Yeah, man.
YouTube is just too good, man. It's too efficient.
Yeah, it is efficient.
It's too efficient.
It's pretty accurate.
You ever use the search engine on Spotify? It kind of sucks a little bit.
Yeah, Spotify's pretty. I use Apple Music.
Oh, okay, well, yeah, but honestly, I think ChatGPT is gonna give Google a run for its money. Actually, no, I think ChatGPT is smacking Google up now.
Yeah.
People have used it so far. Like I've used it for my personal job. I guess because my job is too like intricate at the moment. It doesn't really. How do I put this? I was having an issue with my job trying to do something without getting specifics, and I wasn't able to do it. So I'm like, let me search Google first. See, okay, nobody knows that.
You gotta do the same shit.
Let me search on ChatGPT.
Yeah.
ChatGPT didn't really know how to do it either. I eventually figured it out because I'm a professional.
Yeah.
So I had to figure it out, and I did. But I'm like, okay, so right now it seems like my job is safe. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna be more. I'm not gonna take the Luddite approach. And for those of you who don't know, Luddites are people who are against like machines and automation. They're like the old school people from back in the 1700s or the 1800s, I think. But I'm cautiously optimistic that ChatGPT and automation and AI might end up creating new industries. They take jobs away, but they create brand new industries, and that's what people don't really talk about. So
Yeah.
yeah. Really quick before we end the podcast, what are your thoughts on self-driving cars?
Oof. So
Not so much the technology behind it, but more from like a philosophical perspective of people driving cars.
yeah. So if we talk about like driving selfless, drivable cars, I was also thinking about like the whole idea of cars that could fly. So like we have cars that could fly. We have cars that could drive themselves for a certain amount of time, right? You have to re-engage with them. The
Yeah,
Tesla,
yeah,
they have
yeah.
like their driveless software. I don't think we're at the point where humans are integrated with technology. There's too many mistakes that could happen, right? I know you were asking about driverless cars, but to get to the idea of cars that could fly, like God forbid there's a car accident, right?
In the sky,
Yeah,
right.
cars would start falling on humans. And so if you're able to have driverless cars, right, it's like there's too many anomalies that could happen, right? God forbid someone hacks into the system and they have controls of several cars, right?
Yeah.
You can have several.
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
control of the whole grid, right? And so
now
you're
you
able
have-
to like
right.
basically
You just hijack missiles.
Yeah.
or just weapons. You hijack
weapons, basically. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. You just throw them at people.
Wow, you could actually, yeah. See, I didn't even think about that. You could use the car as a weapon if you
Yeah.
think about
So
it.
my thing about self-driving cars is this: anything that removes your autonomy should be looked at with skepticism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, oh, you don't need your car anymore. You just have self-driving cars. The cars drive by themselves. Like, well, I want to drive my own. I want to have my self-autonomy. I don't want to depend on something to do everything for me, because then it's not mine and it can be taken away from me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
But the whole thing with self-driving cars is kind of difficult to argue that they're going to be a lot safer. Number one. Number two, imagine the streets are filled with self-driving cars, right? You no longer need your own car. You call an Uber, boom, a self-driving car picks you up, boom, a self-driving car drops you off. And now also, if depending on the scale of self-driving cars, the highways are now networks that in which the cars use to travel on to communicate with each other, like packets, right? Like network packets.
Yeah.
And network engineers, don't yell at me if I'm miss speaking on what network packets are. But imagine you're in a highway, right? And there's an accident 10 miles away. That sends a message to all the other cars coming down the pipeline, like, oh, search alternate route.
Yeah, reroute.
Accident occurred automatically, way automatically. So cars now start searching for alternate routes and things like that. Calls 911. It seems like it's gonna be more efficient. The problem is, well, I don't know if it's a problem, but for us to take full advantage of self-driving cars, we need to create new cities that take that into account. Currently, the way we have our cities set up is too confusing. But for self-driving cars, that is, I would assume. But if you make a city with a self-driving car in mind, everything straight, no curves, nothing strange. I think that's where self-driving cars are really gonna take off.
Damn. So they would have to like re-engineer all the highways and all the infrastructure.
Kinda, yeah. So it's like,
It's tough.
yeah. So it'll be like,
For the U.S., it's tough.
Well,
Not for other countries that
no,
don't really have a.
well, remember when the trains showed up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, you gotta lay down metal across the entire country. But we did it, and it worked out.
Yeah, but we still have like a really old infrastructure that we're
Yeah.
still trying to upgrade. And it seems like by the time we're able to upgrade our trains, at least for like New York and all these
Yeah.
other cities, like it's gonna be outdated.
Yeah. I think personally, self-driving cars are gonna be a thing, whether people want it or not. And it's gonna just be too cheap. It's gonna be way too cheap. You're not paying a driver anymore. Google or whoever, Lyft, Uber, whatever, all they gotta do is buy a fleet of cars that drive themselves. They're on the network. You click a button, one of them responds like a server. They pick you up, take you
Yeah.
home. That's it. So
Damn, that's gonna be a hard hit for the
the
automotive
drivers, yeah.
automotive
think-
industry,
I
unless they
think-
start providing cars just for that service.
Honestly, I don't know how optimistic I am about this, but I expect our legislative officials to do right by us and say, it'll be against the law for self-driving cars to not have a driver. You have to have a driver in case something happens with the car.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's it. You got anything else, man?
No, man, that's it, man. I think we covered the majority of everything. We'll see what happens this week, man.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we expect more subscribers.
Right. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment. We're constantly commenting on other people's channels. We're responding.
We're picking fights. No, I'm kidding.
Nah, we're not like that channel that we mentioned earlier.
All righty, guys. Take care. Peace.
All right, peace.